Hey everyone, just Vicky. I wanted to show you how I made these super cute crackers ready for Christmas, which are also going to be the nameplates because they've obviously got everyone's initials on. And I will show you what is in them in a bit. There is no snap going in these because I didn't want them getting broken. So I've used this, it's a Tonic Die. It's a Tonic Dimensionals square cracker set. It has so many pieces to it. So there's the outside bit, there's all these panels that you can cut for the inside. There are literally got to be hundreds and hundreds of ways to use it. So I used that little stitchy border to cut out some panels to go on to the main body of the cracker. I didn't want to add too much to the rest of it. I wanted to keep them quite simple. And I used Lawn Fawn Oliver stitched ABCs just to do everybody's initials. So there's mine, just in some, it's like a silvery blue card that you can't really see it as much on the images, but when you get up close there is a blue tint to it. So I decided to use my Blueprint Sketch Distress Oxide just to add a little bit of colour to the ends of the scalloped edges, to the edge of the cracker. That's the words I was looking for. I know I'll get there eventually. So all I did to do that was just to take a bit, dab it off a bit, otherwise it was a bit too bright on the edges, and then slowly pull it in from my mat onto the edge of the cardstock and the edge of the cracker, or what will be the edge of the cracker. I decided to make these crackers because I'm sick of having loads of little plastic fish that sit on my hand and apparently tell me that I'm in a really bad mood or whatever it is, even when I'm really happy, because usually, you know, it's on Christmas Day and I'm usually stuffed with turkey and plied with Prosecco or wine and in a very jolly mood, I'm not going to lie. You know, I don't understand the fish. It always says I'm sad, and I'm very, very rarely sad at Christmas. So yeah. So I decided that if I made my own crackers, I could put whatever I wanted in them. And my mum was more than happy to let me do that. We are going to my mum's for Christmas. For those of you in the US, because I know quite a few of my subscribers are, and quite a lot of people from the US do watch this. If you aren't aware, so in England for Christmas, we are allowed between the 23rd and the 27th to bubble with up to 3 households. So our bubble is going to be me and my partner, one household, and my mum and dad, the other household, and the dog. But she doesn't really count because dogs aren't really as much of a COVID risk as the rest of us were, as the rest of the world are. Up until then and after then, we are in tiered lockdowns. So at the moment, we can do very little. So I'm very excited that I can spend Christmas with my mum and my dad and get out of the house. I'm not going to lie, I'm so excited. So all I'm doing now is just burnishing the score lines that the die cuts for me. So I'm just using my bone folder to do that. You do have to think a little bit which way each piece will go. So you've got a peak and a valley and a peak, as they always say. It's just making sure you think about which way it'll all bend once you've done one. I'd done 3 at this point, so I knew exactly where I was going with this folding. They do also have the little tabs on the side for adhesive. So this is just an 1/8 of an inch tape. I think this is a Gina K one, which I just got because I needed an extra specially thin one to go down here. I'm using strong double-sided tape because with glue, obviously, it's a bit harder to get it to stay in place while you're waiting for it to dry. And I'm just obviously burnishing that down again with my bone folder just to make sure that it's really, really tight to the cardstock. I'm using some double-sided tape runner just to adhere these panels onto the panels on the card. It's quite easy to line them up. Obviously all these are die cut from the actual card die, so it does obviously all very nicely mat and layer onto there, which is extra especially handy. So I'm just going to get that layered on there, and then it becomes a case of sticking all my letters down. I did put some double-sided tape on the back of these. The first set I did use some wet glue to stick them down, but it was quite messy. It was quite complicated sticking wet glue onto the pearlescent card. It splodged and it made a bit of a mess. It took a long time. I had to put weights down to get it to really stick. I mean, it's fine now. They're really, really well adhered, but this was a lot faster and a lot simpler when it came to it, in order to be able to actually get this to some kind of a video where you wouldn't be pulling your hair out as I was pulling my hair out when I was doing the first ones. So I really hope my other half appreciates his cracker, because it was his that took me all the time to do. You may have seen that I did post a little tease on my Instagram about these as well. So my parents don't know what's on the inside of these. My other half does, because he was with me when I bought the stuff that's inside them. And I am going to show you these. So I'm kind of hoping it'll tempt my parents across to YouTube, just so they can find out what's in their crackers. And I'm just eyeballing to get these in the middle of the crackers. That one's a little bit crooked, I've now noticed, but I hadn't noticed it before. I'll just pop that one at the bottom when I put it on the table for Christmas dinner, so it'll be fine. But once all of those are done, it is time to assemble the cracker, which is nice and easy to do. I'd forgotten to burnish those lines, but they are quite easy to just fold, so I'm just going to give them a gentle folding so I don't mess up the tabs that I've done. And then just those tiny little tabs, I am going to give them a bit of a burnish just to make sure they're well and truly stuck. So the easiest way I've found to do this is to fold over that first layer completely flat, take off the release papers, and then literally just fold it into itself, and it should theoretically line up perfectly. Just give that a good bit of a press down. And then I'm fastening these all up with tape, some ribbon. As I say, I haven't put any bangs in them, which you can buy online if you do want to put bangs in them, because I'm putting booze in them. And if you pulled them to get the bang and ripped them and the booze fell on the floor and smashed, you'd be very sad. So yes, these are all filled with booze, different variations of booze for the different people, for what they particularly like to drink and what I could lay my hands on at the shop, which was surprisingly short on miniatures. But yep, so that's the crackers all done. So as I say, I've done one for my mum, my dad, me and my other half, and that's them all done. I hope you all have a lovely Christmas, and I will bring you some more videos before then. Take care, guys. Bye.